In this video we are returning to LFR for Castle Nathria and talking about Wing 1, bosses 2 and 3, Hungering Destroyer and Lady Inerva Darkvein. My impressions, little tips for you, let's do this. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gyro, I'm your host here. We're still celebrating New Year's, we're still in the festive season. Hopefully you are being safe, hopefully you're enjoying the content on this channel. I'm trying to still be entertaining for you and for me as well, while we all have a little bit more time on our hands. So LFR, fantastic thing for casuals like us. We don't raid very seriously and we are learning from each other, I suppose, on how to tackle different bosses, different mechanics, strategies and that kind of stuff. This is what this video is going to be about. If you are an experienced player, if you raid normal, if you raid heroic, or if somehow any topics of LFR or references to it being raiding at all are aggravating to you, it is not my goal. This is probably not a video for you. In that case, probably this is your stop, because the rest of it is going to be for casuals, for noobs, for other people who want to learn. This is your warning. Otherwise, please stick around. I welcome everyone. I just don't want it to be aggravating for you in any way or making too many apologies on my end. So Hungering Destroyer is the second boss of the Wing 1 of Castle Nathria LFR. We already spoke about boss number 1, the Huntsman Ultimore, so you can find that video on my channel. So Hungering Destroyer is somewhat interesting boss. I like Hungering Destroyer. Key mechanic of the boss reveals itself when you are on the way to the boss and just deal with not that even plentiful trash, with maybe 3 trash packs of those ticks and whatever other creatures there are, those weird bluey white ones. So my understanding is that the biggest danger and the biggest fear kind of for people not to do the right thing is to ignore the mechanic where random players are being targeted with a debuff. That debuff manifests itself as a circle, as a whitish swirly circle around those people. Those people cannot be healed. So what they need to do is they need to leech health from other friendly players who will choose to come very close to them, bunch up next to them in that circle, and that way the debuffed player can leech health from the other players. And you know, at the end of the day, because they can be healed, it sort of all evens itself out. That's how healing is a bit impaired and how it works on the trash packs and on Hungering Destroyer. Spread out around the boss and just be able to very quickly react to when you see those swirly white circles around the players. You need to step into the circle, especially if it seems like there are not that many people standing in a circle yet. You want to offer a little bit of your health to your friends in order for the whole raid to survive. This advice also goes for ranged DPS as far as I know. For ranged DPS, I play a lot of ranged, but I play melee as well. But you don't want to stand somewhere on the outskirts of the room while only the limited group of melee characters then need to fend for each other and try to offer their health to each other. You want to stand closer to the melee range and you want to be able to step into the circle if you want to. Occasionally the boss will also start casting a very obvious circle of an AoE damage, telegraphed so loud and clearly that you just need to step out of it. You don't need to stand close to it. That's about it. There is nothing else to really worry about this boss. There is just very few things to do right. I always recommend for this boss, for other bosses, for this raid, for other raids, I always recommend that you guys install DBM Deadly Boss Mods add-on. There is no reason for you to not have it in LFR, in dungeons, in anything else. So it's a wonderful add-on. It's been there for years and years and years, and it tells you everything you need to know, like obvious stuff. Go to the tank, go away. Basically prevents you from doing a completely wrong thing. And with a new raid upon us, with lots of randos and that kind of stuff, I think the least you can do for yourself is install the add-on and not have any troubles. Overall impressions from Hungering Destroyer is it is a tank and spank. It is a tank and spank boss, fairly easy. This is not obviously a tanking guide. Maybe there is a bit more to say when we will be starting to look from the tanking perspective at the bosses. But otherwise, Hungering Destroyer is no trouble. Just don't ignore the key mechanic of trying to help people heal themselves. That's about it. Now, on to the last boss of the first wing of LFR, Lady Inerva Darkvein. She is not as a pushover as other two. she requires a little bit more of attention and personal responsibility from the individual players, even in LFR. Of course, it's nothing compared to normal and heroic, but it definitely is not a face roll. By casual standards, it's just not. Good thing is that she's practically around the corner from the Hungering Destroyer, so you don't actually need to go through half of the city like it felt in Nyalotha raid in BFA to get to the next boss. That's great. I don't even know if there are any trash packs, to be honest, between the Hungering Destroyer and her. It's fine. So the encounter starts by you obviously clearing out her platform. You need to kill named characters / ads on her platform who show bits and pieces of the abilities that she will have. She will have as a boss. We will talk about them in a second. So you just clear it out. There shouldn't be any particular issue. And then you engage the boss, okay? You engage her. Here is what is there to be aware of. So first of all, there will be red orbs spawning periodically on the platform somewhere. And at the same time, a few people will be connected by what some people refer to as a thread. Some people refer to as a laser. It's certainly not a laser. I think it's like a blood thread between the people. It's stretchable. And it will do a lot of bad stuff unless you get rid of it. To get rid of it, you pick 2 orbs. So 2 orbs are standing there. And 2 of you connected, yeah, as people. You run the thread through the orbs. The way I understood it, it's insufficient for one person to go through one orb. You have to see 2 orbs, and you have to run on both sides of the orbs so that the thread is kind of torn over those both orbs. Does it make any sense? It's the best I can do to explain it kind of on fingers, as we say. But best thing for you is to watch the footage in the background. It's very hard for me to time my narrative perfectly with when it happens here, but I'm sure if you pay attention, you will see exactly when it doesn't work and when it does work, when people try to do it. There will be also some smaller circles with a bit of a fire swirl kind of above them, spawning periodically. You just need to stand in them and soak them up, or at the very least that's how I understood it. Or, again, not super sure, but I think they do AoE damage to the raid if you don't do that, if you completely think that it's someone else's problem. If you see a swirly that no one stands in, you need to stand in it, okay? Then occasionally, and this is probably the last big thing to look out for, occasionally one of the players will be randomly debuffed with a lot more prominent and a lot more visible larger red circle, telegraph red circle, as if an explosion is about to happen. But it's not an explosion, okay? That circle means that a red big-ish ad called Harnessed Spectre is about to spawn. That Harnessed Spectre is also going to do a lot of AoE damage to the raid if that Spectre is not dealt with very, very quickly. So here is what is there to be aware of. First of all, someone needs to be in Spectre's melee range instantly, otherwise the AoE to the whole raid is going to be happening pretty fast and will do a ton of damage. It needs to be tanked. I don't think it's one of those light kind of ads, the ones that can be more or less ignored, or a Clothy can just dance around them. I don't think so, which is why recommendation that we got in the raid from someone who was kind of attempting to lead the process is that whenever you get debuffed, whenever you see that circle around you, you should run somewhere closer to the tanks. You don't have to stand on top of them, but maybe closer to the boss, so that the tank can pick up the ad as soon as the ad spawns. And then naturally, as already enough was said about the potential danger of the ad, the DPS needs to focus the ad and burn it down as quickly as possible. So that's it. These are kind of 3 things. Unless I'm missing something, let me know, as always I say, in the comments down below. But I think these are the main things for us to be aware of as far as handling of the mechanics of Lady Inerva are concerned. Like I said, I enjoy fairly basic mechanics that don't push me over the edge, that don't add more gray hair to my already hairless head. But at the same time, I like when there is some challenge. I don't want it to be a complete pushover. Show up, get loot. I would like to be pushed a little bit. And this, I think, Lady Inerva, I think, is a good example of a boss of LFR where there is just enough of that little bit of a challenge and pressure on the whole raid that you get rewarded for. So it's somewhat resemblant of proper raiding without it becoming too organized, too stressful, too committal, too whatever, you know. So that's why I actually am quite a fan of this fight. I think it's alright. Overall impressions of the Wing 1 of Castle Nathria, it's a Wing 1 of a raid. It's not mind-boggling but it is enjoyable. I'd say it's reasonably enjoyable. It also feels fairly rewarding. It offers item level 184 loot, which is great for casuals. There are not that many sources for you to straight away get that, especially as DPS. It's much harder to make your own mythic group and get into mythics and stuff. And for that item level, to kind of graduate from the item level range of heroics, I think that's where it becomes a little bit more challenging. And I think LFR is definitely a big supplement to that item level. At least in my book, at least that's how it works for me. You tell me what works for you, you tell me how you feel about LFR. That's about it for today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like the video, please help YouTube understand that you enjoy my content so that it can show it to more people. And the more people here in our club, the more people are commenting, the more people you get to interact with, I get to interact with, the merrier overall. Please look out for more videos about World of Warcraft coming out twice a week. We are going strong into the new year. Everything is cool. Really appreciate your support and patronage. If you haven't subscribed yet, but it sounded like your cup of tea, you like these little friendly rants, please subscribe. Why not? Why not do it? Otherwise, I'll see you in a few days' time. Thank you very much for tuning in today, and I'll be speaking with you very soon. Bye-bye for now.